Hello and a huge welcome to this video. I'm Scorpion from How to Do, and a request of my really awesome subscriber. I'm gonna make a tutorial on how to make parkour system in Unity using the Playmaker system. So in this video we will be learning how to make this kind of climbing system, alright, like this. And then in the next video, I hope so, we will be learning how to make this kind of slide under system so that you can slide under these tiny holes, right, like that. So yeah, let's get started. So if you want to learn how to make this kind of character who can walk around, run around, take out the gun, shoot around, and then there is there's a car, there's airplane and all that stuff. So how to make that, go ahead and see my tutorial series on how to make GTA series, alright, and you can also do the punching system, alright. So the link to the GTA series in the description box below, and you can also see that I have made this big terrain over here. So I will also release a tutorial on how to make this kind of awesome terrain. So let's just jump right into the tutorial scene. There we go. So this was what we had made in our previous videos, like this things. It was really simple, and yeah, that's what we made in the previous video. So now what we want is we want some kind of animation to play which we want is to play when the player climbs up something. So I already have it. It is called the sprint to wall climb, alright. So this is what it looks like. Oh, wait a second. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Alright, so you can find this animation in mixmo.com, which is this one, www.mixmo.com/hat/this thing. Alright, so you have to just upload any character. I have this one over here, and you have to say wall climb over here, and I am using sprint to wall climb, and it looks something like this. Alright, so you have to just go ahead and download it. If you don't know how to use this thing, I have already made a tutorial on how to use this site, so you don't have to you just have to click the link in the description box below and see that video. So with that done, you have to import the animation right here, and you have to go to rig and set it to humanoid, and then go to animation, and that's pretty much it. So then you have to go to your animator. This was what we made in the previous videos. So we have aiming, fire, walk, rifle walk, and then normal walk, punch, and running, and all that stuff. So you have to just go ahead and drag and drop your wall climbing in here anywhere, and we will call it VC for wall climbing. Alright, so make it simple. You don't have to wall FWD loop, which means wall forward loop. You don't have to do that. You have to just name it as simple as you can. So let me just go ahead and go to the player and say edit. So this is what we made in the previous videos. This was the FSM. So you don't have FSM, which means if you don't have Playmaker, go ahead, click the link in the description box below and download Playmaker for free. So now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and add a state. We will call this state wall climbing. Alright, and now what we want to do is we want to have some kind of trigger that when we climb a wall. So how to do that? Well, this is something a little difficult, so let's see how to do that. Where to start? So let me just go ahead and change the material of this guy so that we can see that this is the thing that we want to climb. So let's just say that we want to climb this guy. Alright, so this is the only thing that we can climb. So as I have told you in the demo that I have put a tag on these things. So this is the tag wall climbing. So you have to say go to tag and say add tag, and you have to say plus, and you have to say wall climbing and say save, and then go back to this cube and say wall climbing, and there we go. Now this guy has the wall climbing tag. So now we have to detect, let me just call it wall so that we can distinguish. So now we want to detect from the player that if we are doing something with this wall. Alright, so let's just come over here and say what you have to say is you have to say raycast or we can say get button down. Get button down. The button down will be, we will set the button. So go to edit project settings input, and we want to set the button. I have already done that, W climbing, which is wall climbing. So you have to go ahead and say increase this number to 1, and then you will see like it's 22 here, so I have to do 23. There we go. Now it's extra thing over here. So let me just go ahead and say VC wall climbing, and put let's just say we want space to be the button which we want to press to execute our wall climbing. So just go ahead and add space in here, and that's that. So now you have to remember that your button name is VC without any space. Come back to your player and say VC, which means space. Alright, and when we press space, we have to go ahead and go to new event, and we will call it, say, test the wall. Test the wall, that if the wall is with the tag of the wall or not, with the tag of the wall climbing or not. So I think you're getting what I'm saying. Test the wall, and before we do the wall climbing, we want to do a test, simple test. So we'll say test, drag it over here. So we want to do the same thing over in the running. So Control C and Control V, add the transition wall test. There we go. And here what we want to do is we want to say raycast, and now we have to raycast from an object, game object. So let me just quickly do that. So press F, focus in here, and I actually should reduce this radius like this much, and go ahead and go to prayer and say empty object, and I will call it raycast game object. So obj, raycast obj. So this is the object from where the raycast will be executed. All right, so I guess that is, it's looking great. There we go. So let's just go ahead and set there. So make sure that the raycast object is not colliding with the this sphere right here, with this capsule collider, or it is the character controller. So make sure that it is out of the character controller, otherwise it won't work. So let's just go back to the player and say edit, and say go to test, specify game object, and that will be the raycast object. So we want to execute the raycast from this guy in the direction of Z. So the direction will be Z, and the distance will be 0.4, and hit event we want to say nothing. We want to do nothing, and we want to store the hit object into new variable. We'll call it test obj, test object. And then in here what we want to say is we want to say game object compare tag, game object compare tag, and we want to compare the tag of the test object with the tag of the wall climbing. So the thing which we hit with this raycast is actually a ray. It's kind of a laser. So when this laser hits any object, that object will be stored in this variable, and we will compare this variable with this tag. So if the thing has the tag, then we will say climb the wall. So new event. If it's true, then we'll say climb, and if it's false, then we will say finished. Alright, so if it's true, then go to the, where is it, climb and wall climbing, and if it's false, then go to finished and come back to idle or walk, or whatever it is. Alright, so let me just simply go ahead and check it out whether it's working or not. So let me just go ahead and play and resize it so that you can see. over here. Oh, come on, there's something wrong with these guys. Sorry about that. Let's come back over here, select the player, and you will see that when I press space, it goes right into the wall climbing, because we are right in front of this thing, because it has the wall climbing tag. But if I go ahead and play again and then see what happens, if I press space, it comes back because we are not colliding with this thing. But when we get near it, so there's a little problem over here. There we go. Now it goes to wall climbing. So there's some problem with the raycast. Sometimes that happens. We will fix that later. But now what we want is we want to go to the wall climbing and say animator crossfade. All right, and animator crossfade, what that does is actually crossfades from any state to the, wait a second, let's do that, because this was what I was making and this was what we made in the previous video, so that's a little confusing. So nothing to worry. So let's just go ahead, and what we want is we want to crossfade from any state to this wall climbing animation. So let's say VC transition duration reduce it to 0.1 so that it goes right into that. And if you play now, you will see that if we go over here and say it does that animation and it stuck over there. All right, so as you can see, that actually works. So let me just go ahead and quickly come back, pause the game, and go ahead and press F over here. We don't want that static. I don't know why it's static. And make sure that it is right over here. So this is the level until which we can actually climb this thing. So let's just go ahead and copy component and then paste component values. All right, there we go. Oh shit, man. So now there's a little problem over here. Okay, it's really bad when that happens. Sometimes that happens with me, but as you can see now, we press play, it actually works and it gets right over here. That's great. So let me just go ahead and quickly turn off my Unity, and because something is happening over here. I don't know why that happened. Alright, so I have actually turned off my Unity and restarted this whole thing, but this guy is not fixed right now, because if I come back to the other scene, you will see that it works right here. You can see these things over here, but if I come back to this scene, they misbehave with me, and I'm really frustrated. So let's see how to fix that. Is there anything I can do? I don't think so I can fix it, so let me just go ahead and ignore it. I can do nothing else. Hey, it's not working. It's not working at all. Alright, there we go. So you can see these little things over here. So we have to do adjustment over here. You can adjust it, right? So you have to come back to the FSM. Thank goodness the FSM is working, and in here you can see that we cannot come back to the idle state when we get inside. So when we come over here, we get stuck in this state. So we have to say wait for, not move towards, we have to wait for, I don't know, 0.8 seconds, 0.8 seconds and go finished, and then come back to the idle state. So what is happening, actually we are checking whether the game object that we hit is actually the wall climbing. The game object that we have hit is with the tag of the wall climbing. If it is, then go to wall climbing and then play this animation and then come back after 8 seconds, 0.8 seconds, and then come back to this idle state. So let's see that if that works. Let me just show you that how it is working over here. Play and see. Come here. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so the wait time is little shorter, so we have to wait for a little longer time. Oh shit, sorry. We have to wait little longer time, so let's say 1 second or 1.2 second. I guess that will be good. Run over here and press space. There we go. No, it's not. So let's just say 2 seconds. How about that? Alright, so I guess 1.8 or 1.7 will be the best. Alright, so I have to go ahead and decrease the size of it a little bit, and when we play now you will see that it will kind of work. There we go. Now he climbs up there and it's awesome, but you can see that when we get right inside over here, we can, yeah, now it's working great. But there will be a problem that when we get out and press space over here, he will also do that. So that is little problem. You can see that it will do everywhere. He won't stop. I don't know why that happens, because there's something wrong with the raycast of Playmaker. Now it's not happening, now it's good, but sometimes that happens. So, and as you can see that when I get inside over here, so my game object is actually inside this box. It's inside the cube, and then we cannot get because we cannot detect the cube because it's inside, so it should be out. So let me just go ahead and take my raycast object and pull it little back over here so that it does not get inside, and then copy this component and then paste the component values, and you have to quickly check that whether it is colliding. So it's not colliding, so we can just push it little back also. There we go. Now it's best. So but still the problem that let me just show you quickly, and there we go, it's working now. But still the problem that it vaults. Now it's working. Okay, so he vaults over there, but he vaults over here too, so that's a little problem. So we have to fix that too, because he does that in midair without any obstacle, so that's little problem. So we have to set that. So what we want to do is we want to just go ahead and come back to your player FSM, and you have to say set game object, set come on, not this, set game object, and the game object you want to set is the same test object to none. Alright, because when we come here, the test object becomes the one which is hit, so that kind of confuses the whole FSM, and that does not work. So you have to go ahead and just set it to none every frame. Control C, Control V, and I don't think so it should be every frame, so let's just leave it, and now it should properly work. And that's it guys, it will work properly. I will just quickly show you guys. He just gets on top of this thing, however when he comes over here he cannot jump up this thing. Alright, as you can see, I'm pressing the space. He is not doing that, but when we come here, he does that step. So yep, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you did, then subscribe to my channel, which is how to do. And if you want, you can also go ahead and donate me some money through PayPal. The link to that is in the description box below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and in the next video you guys will be learning how to make that sliding system which I showed you in the demo, how to make that. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Till then, be cool.